So this past summer, we were, I guess, given a contract or invited to join a summer camp, and it's a full day cooking camp for kids ages 4 to 12. And what we were invited to do was to come and bring our activities to the camps for the full summer. But what the opportunity was great in the sense of like we didn't have to look for a space, we didn't have to find an enrollment.
Samantha, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm in Toronto, Ontario, in Canada. I have two kids. My son is 7 and my daughter is 4. And so she was born in 2020, which is like the height of COVID. So it was just a real struggle, like going through just having a newborn and everything being locked down and no access to anything like support systems, things that we needed. So I really started thinking of like, what do I have around the house like that I can use? And I actually found that sewing, I needed a lot of drool bibs. My daughter was so just drooling all the time. I actually found that sewing was like super relaxing, like super out of my head, focused. I didn't dwell on anything. It was just such a, like almost like this emotional relief.
So, what ultimately made you decide to take the leap to start your club? You tell us a bit about your name, Junebird, as well.
Yeah, so that comes actually like really inspired from my grandparents. So my grandmother's name is June, and
Mhm.
she's the one that did all the sewing. Like a lot of our clothes were handmade by her. She has done like just over the years, like so many craft fairs. She's always sewing and knitting and always being creative in that sort of tactile type of atmosphere. And then the bird part comes from my grandfather, who was really just like an avid bird watcher. It was just something that he was always
That's
fascinated with. The
inspiring.
name makes a lot more sense to me than maybe anybody else, but
It's catchy. It's beautiful. I mean,
yeah.
I remember seeing your logo for the first time and thinking, oh, this is beautiful. And your website as well. It's just gorgeous. I think you've really done a great way in expressing what you were explaining now, what you're feeling into your
Yeah.
brand identity as well. Samantha, it was so nice to chat to you at Coffee Club the other day. And I was just so
Yeah.
impressed to hear about your summer camps. And I thought I'd love to check in and just hear more about it in detail.
Yeah, sure. So this past summer, we were, I guess, given a contract or invited to join a summer camp, and it's a full day cooking camp for kids ages 4 to 12. And what we were invited to do was to come and bring our activities to the camps for the full summer. And we brought our activities there sort of geared towards age groups 4 to 8 and then 8 to 12. And that's also how that camp splits their ages as well for their activities. So it really aligned quite nicely for us to be able to bring our crafts and also to help with our focus on social emotional learning, pulling those elements out of all the activities that you guys have provided and what we were able to sort of blend those two ideas together. Being able to bring the arts and crafts activities and some games to the kids allows them to sort of still build all those skills, build dexterity, build problem solving, and just also giving them something great that they can come home and share with their parents and their families about what they did. They take this activity home, this craft home, and then the learnings that go along with it as well. So
How many kids did you see per day? And how?
About 24 per day. But what the opportunity was great in the sense of like we didn't have to look for a space, we didn't have to find an enrollment. We are just working with the program manager and the owner of that business. It was just such a enlightening opportunity to have that collaboration. Getting some tips on how the kids typically interact with them. It kind of helped geared our teaching mindset and our ability to relate to those kids. So having somebody to bounce those ideas off of just the interaction was great. And what she's seen kids have their skill sets for, what they'd be interested in, and also just blending her themes with our themes as well. It was a good support for both both businesses.
And what did you charge per student, or did they pay you per session, or how did it work?
Uh, for the full session, so we came to an agreement. So we did actual more prep for that that camp individually. So we charged a fee for design of activities, specifically to go along with the themes that they had advertised for their camp. And then for the full summer, we charged like a flat rate for all the sessions that we did. So we charged like $800 for planning and workshop design, and then the delivery of the workshops for the full summer was $3,600, and that's Canadian dollars.
Congratulations. It's
Yeah,
good
yeah,
business. Well
yeah. I think
done.
it was pretty good, and yeah.
And what has been your favorite part of your journey so far?
For myself, like, not to do the crafting, but just the learning of something new, like learning about websites, learning about marketing, talking to people, pushing my own boundaries, building my own resilience on how to get the business moving forward. It's just not a skill set that I necessarily had, not something that I plan to, ever think about having done before, was never an interest to go into any further schooling about, but just the opportunity to even expand my mind, challenging myself to start a business and learn all the ins and outs of that, was really the things
Congratulations.
that prompted me. Yeah,
You've really embraced the growth mindset and you've really
yeah,
challenged yourself, and that's wonderful. For those who don't know, Samantha was also talking about WebHub, where she set up her own website with a pop up, and then she collects leads by putting in a name and an email address, and her customer base automatically builds when they sign up for a form and get a freebie in exchange. So, yeah, that is absolutely amazing, Samantha. I
yeah,
mean, that is, yeah, you've done so well in getting all of that. And as you say, the marketing and then getting in at the summer camp, it all takes time and it's all new learnings. And
exactly.
once you get your feet wet and you really go for it, it's actually amazing how it can snowball and opportunities just pop up everywhere. Just another question on WebHub. What has your experience been like with setting up and embracing the technology, and how long did it take you to get your website live? Have you been enjoying that?
I have, having tried like different website providers, again, as brand new to all this, some that are really like a drag and drop system, some that are really more technical with a bit more, not necessarily like the coding aspect that you would if you were a full web designer as a profession. Um, but this one is a nice balance of enough where you can customize what you want, with the sort of drag and drop features where you don't get overwhelmed of, oh, how do I put this in this spot, does it look all right over here? So being able to follow sort of a bit more of a tailored system, it helps cut down on the decision making, which is great, but enough which allows me to learn more instead of just blindly doing everything. It actually gives me some mental thought, and there's just enough to learn, but not enough to be overwhelmed. In my opinion, I know it can be super overwhelming. So
Good.
it's
That's great.
really it's straightforward, easy to follow. The instructions are great. Like, there's help videos on almost anything you can imagine. And what I feel is it's so connected that there are people behind it. It's not just a big organization, which I'm sure there are so many more people behind you, with your team, but you're not just like a number. Like, there is the support there to email and do live chats, that and you see the faces of the actual team doing the tutorials or questions, common questions that you created all the videos for in the help and information section. So it's really straightforward to be able to use the WebHub system.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. That's wonderful feedback. And you do know about the bubble at the bottom where you can chat to
Yes,
somebody live. Have you
yes.
used that at all?
No, I haven't used the chat. I usually start there, and I'll end up most times getting enough information from the video link or the help link that will pop up from there, that I haven't quite had to um, actually speak to somebody yet. But I know they're there.
How has starting a club changed your life and also your family's life?
Yeah, that's a super good question. So for me, it's also, I guess it's my own self confidence. It's my
Mhm.
um, mindset change, my belief in myself, my being able to carry myself a little bit more upright, let's say. I can say that I've done this, I've achieved this, I haven't given up. I've been able to sort of hopefully, I can share those lessons in the future with my kids about, well, this is what I tried, and this is what worked, and this is how I was successful. So, there's anything that you want to try and
You're
just
so
go for
proud.
it.
Yeah,
Uh,
you can be so proud of what you've achieved. And does your kids take part at all in the lessons and in the planning and the prep and that kind of thing?
a little bit. They definitely get to be the testers of the
Good.
the activities that we bring to the camps. Looking at an empty cardboard box and like, oh, let's keep that for, and some crazy idea
That's
comes out of their head.
yeah.
So that's how they sort of participate and engage in what I'm doing. I don't know that they recognize the full extent of the business side as we see it, but yeah, they are
But
around and enjoy it.
but yeah, but they're learning through example. I often think that just having the flexibility and being home, having your kids see you're working on something,
Yeah,
towards something, you're impacting lives. It's like that almost, for the lack of a better word, it's like white noise. They just it
yeah,
filters all around them, and it inspires them to become somebody who will be better one day because they had a mom who was ambitious and proud and had a thing going. So that's really great. Samantha, I've got one last question for you.
yeah.
What advice would you give someone who is looking to start a club?
Just embrace the fact that there's going to be challenges. The first thing may not work out, the second thing may not work out, the fourth, it could go on and on and on. But like there's a lot of good motivational quotes. We actually did some researching for one of our activities about resilience, and there's so many things out there that inspired me about making that activity with these quotes. And it's just saying, you've found so many ways that something doesn't work, and
Mm.
then you find the one that does. So it's not that you failed all these times, it's that, oh, you know what, those ones just didn't work out. So now I'm at the one that does, and being patient and allowing yourself to go through those times of uncertainty, and then just picking up and keep on going. Set your goals, reset your goals as you learn about how things are going for you. Be able to just change and adapt, and think about where you started and where you are today, whether that's just, you read one help article, or you watched one video on what to do forward, or is it, did you print a flyer, did you do some footwork and go to neighborhood schools, or put notices up on community boards. It's just the one step on the time, and whatever that one step is, make sure that you give yourself the gratitude for having achieved that one step on that particular time.
My husband always says, celebrate the small wins. He always
Yes,
says, every
yeah,
single small win you do, celebrate it because you've moved forward. Yeah, so that's
exactly.
great advice. Thank you so much. You must have a
All
lovely day, and it was
right.
so nice to learn to get to know you a little bit better. And well
Yeah,
done.
this was fantastic.
Oh, thank you. I
Perfect.
appreciate it.
All right, enjoy your day.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.